feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no wave.
Yeah, I like how YB popping his shit right now. I think he's been tweeting about women recently. I don't know what's going on with him and his ladies. A lot of drama over there, I guess. You know, I think I mentioned it last night, but I'm like, imagine the drama and the hell that Youngboy goes through having 9 baby mamas. Jesus Christ. He was tweeting, like, anytime I see some of these tweets, I'm like, I don't even really want to know who it's about or whatever, but I just know he cussing out somebody specific, and it's probably a baby mama. I don't think he really getting back and forth with, like, a side chick or something like that. They just know how to get down, right? Okay. What is that? Oh, the party won't end. Lord, I know I need healing. No matter how life going at the time, you better stay true to every moment or you'll fail. This wasn't the stuff. Oh, it's today. He says, I am what you say I am. I don't like this phase, but this is who I'm going to be till I get better. It's a process. Some take longer than others. Development. Now suck my D. Okay. He said, tell your favorite. Let's go 15 songs each. Loser, never rap again. I like this confidence. Why is YB talking like that? I like this confidence. Now, I don't think, well, first of all, I don't think, well, is Youngboy a rap battle type of guy? I'm going to be honest with you. Hot take. I think Dirk and Youngboy might be more of an epic, rap and street battle more than Drake and Kendrick. Drake and Kendrick was doing a whole bunch of lying. Like, that shit was fictional. The thing with YB and Dirk, they were speaking facts. Straight facts. I like that. Anyway. Wait. Oh. I accidentally blocked Youngboy. If you press X, it blocks somebody? Anyway. All right. I'm trying to use this computer down here. Yo, y'all ain't watching the game? Yeah, I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all, man. Chat, it is so cold out here in Jersey. It's so cold out here in Jersey. Nobody's having a Super Bowl party. Of course, people want me to have a Super Bowl party. I've learned my lesson. I don't invite niggas to my house no more. Not to my house, not to my apartment, none of that. You feel what I'm saying? Not only they leave you with the cleanup, niggas come to your house and everything you tell them not to do, they finna do. You get what I'm saying? And you liable. So I learned a good lesson. But anyway, I'm kind of like trying to figure out where the Super Bowl party at. So until I figure it out, I think we got like 15 minutes or so. I'm here kicking it with y'all, man. Kicking it with y'all for a couple of minutes. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go, where I'm going to watch the game. We're going to get into the game in a little bit. This is not really a full stream. This is like a pre-Super Bowl stream. And no, I won't be a loser and sit here and stream while the game's going on. So don't worry. But anyway, I'll quickly talk about Youngboy saying that he's down to go 15 songs. Loser, never rap battles again. I like that. Now, I really don't think he's the Verzus type of rapper. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. Well, number one, I got to give credit to Gucci and give credit to Jeezy, but I just can't see him and a rapper sitting there while potentially they're playing songs, dissing each other's dead mans. Like, nah, I can't see Youngboy doing that. And I had to give credit to Gucci and also Jeezy for getting to that point where they could stomach being in the same room with each other and even having that go down. So that's one thing. But we could kind of like hypothesize and say, what would happen if Youngboy did go 15 songs with somebody? Does he have that type of catalog? Now, what was interesting is that fans responded, and he responded back to them. For example, somebody says, yo, if there's no features, only person that stand a chance versus you is Future. Now, I think that's props. He ain't like that shit. He said, you smoke more dope than me, nigga. So he clearly disagrees, right? Has he ever talked about Future? Nah, he ain't never really talked about Future. Well, actually, don't him and Future got a song? Future and Youngboy got a song, right? I think so. Future, Youngboy. Don't they got a song? Trillionaire or something? Yeah. They got a song 5 years ago. They got a song 7 years ago, right or wrong? Okay. But he says, you smoke more dope than me. And then somebody says, shit, definitely, yay. And he says, try it, come on. Of course, Lil Baby desperate fan page is trying to throw him in the mix. Man, stop it. At this point, Lil Baby might get mopped up. Pause about Gunna. But they say, oh, Wham winning 15-0. I'm not going to lie to you. Then some people said Uzi. He didn't respond to anything else. Some people said Kendrick. Somebody says the only person who could stand a chance is Quando. Somebody says, don't even get J. Cole. Okay, J. Cole. Somebody says Plaque Boy Max. Now, in reality, I always got to go down the hierarchy of the undefeatables in Versus. I've done this many times, but I'll do it again. There's nobody touching Kanye. Nobody. We have to go outside the genre, and I think if we have Kanye versus Michael Jackson, I think Kanye might get defeated. However, we got to think about, well, I was going to say Michael Jackson uses a lot of like help and writers and this and third, and some of the songs are more about like performance value too, but Kanye uses help too. So yeah, if we're staying in hip hop, nobody beats Kanye. But if we go outside hip hop, then we could bring in Billie Jean and Michael Jackson's hits. Let's see. So for me, I don't think nobody beats Kanye. Now also keep in mind, Top said 15 songs. I always said certain rappers really have a good shot at doing this versus shit, but you got to play it. You got to play it right. Like, I think if I'm 50 goes neck and neck, pause, with Ye if he says 10 songs. Because what happens is 50 got about 10 smokers, and then you got some other ones that are smokers, but it's the first 10, if we're going in hierarchy of best to worst, the first 10 hits different. So I'll always say, I think 50 would be top 3 if it was only 10. But if we're going off 20, Ye can't be defeated. Ye can't defeat him. After Ye, and by the way, I seen somebody say R. Kelly. Hey, listen, But I'll say, in R&B, nobody fucks with R. Kelly, period. R&B, R. Kelly's stepping on the whole field. It's not even close. I love Usher. I love Chris Brown. But let's be honest, Chris Brown and Usher could do a fusion DBZ dance, and R. Kelly could be locked up in solitary confinement, and R. Kelly will still give both of them the beats. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. I'm sorry. R. Kelly is the king of R&B. Now, after Ye and hip hop, where do we go? After Ye, I know Ye's at the top. Who else after Ye? I forgot. I used to have like a top 4 or 5. Now, I know maybe I'm not going to get them in order here. I'll tell you as more names come to my mind. But when it comes to the South, when it comes to Atlanta, nobody's messing with Future. Sorry to say. Respectfully to anybody from Atlanta, T.I., who calls himself the king of the South, respectfully to Jeezy, respectfully to who else? Gucci. These are really good candidates. But Future is unfuckable with. You can't mess with Future, especially if you're from the South. I see some people throwing Wayne in there. I'm like, okay. Someone said, the Super Bowl starting in 30 minutes. Man, they're going to start singing the Star Spangled Banner in 30 minutes, man. You know how they're milking the hell out of them commercials, man. I had tickets to the Super Bowl. I was going to go, but I was just like, it's just too bummy out there, man. Like San Francisco, that vibe was just not it, man. Not it. Actually, I've been to the Super Bowl one time. Is when Usher performed. And let me tell you this. At least for me, you go there once, you're good off going again. Now, I'm very fortunate that, I get these tickets to go each and every time. Really amazing tickets. Nice little box seats and everything. But it's a hassle, man. It's a hassle. Number one, You're at a event where everybody is somebody. So it's not one of those Ak is here. None of that. Nobody gives a damn. Everybody is somebody. The tickets cost usually just decent seats. $20,000, $30,000. A box costs $1.5-2 million. When I was there, I looked down on the bleachers. You gonna see Busta Rhymes right there. Like, it's not even like a dope ass seat. It's just, hey, but it's everybody next to him is lit. So really, it's not even like, there's a few like super fans of whatever team that's in there, but the majority is like corporate people who like reward their employees with like Super Bowl tickets. It's business partners who like to entice their other business partners, like buy out suites and stuff. It's really not the fans. Like, I would imagine that the majority of like those fans, not the diehard ones that will probably mortgage their house to get there, but the majority of fans for whatever team, I think they're home, or there might be tailgating in their city or something like that. So really, it's just a bunch of celebrity dick sucking fest. You know what I mean? Anyway, when I went, there was so much hassle. I was just like, I could say I went, but this shit is way better at home. Way better at home. It was. I love watching Usher though. Usher was like, he was on the little skates. You know what I mean? I think him and Alicia Keys was about to get it in. I was looking for Swiss Beats. Like, yo, bro, you won't let him try your girl like this? It's like 2 years ago. Anyway, back to my list here. Nobody messes with Ye. I don't think nobody from Atlanta messes with Future. I think Drake is just really tough no matter where. I think he's a top 5 guy for verses. Versatility, he could match whatever style, but he's the hit makers of hit maker, okay? And the only reason why Drake isn't number 1 is that why I have Ye right over Drake for verses is that Ye has some culture-defining, sound-bending, generational songs that mean more than just it's a hit. La, 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 wait till I get my... That song epitomizes just so much. It's more than just a bop for the time. Shit, Jesus Walks, even though not the biggest hit, since when have we seen a rapper kind of make a song about Jesus that went that crazy? She take my money. Now I'm in. Yeah, come on, man. Gold digger. And tell you, oh, it all falls down. Come on, man. Nah, you can't mess with Ye when it comes to this. Let me tell you, Ye know he the guy. This is why he try to get himself canceled every single time and still come back. He's on his 8th comeback. Yeah, I realize Ye's on his 8th comeback. His 8th. Every now and then he F's up. He does it to like test the waters. When I linked with Ye told me, he said, yo, he said, I wanted to do something that they said I couldn't come back from. And I was like, why the fuck would you want to do that? But he had like the smile on his face, like, not that he was like, oh, I'm definitely going to come back when I want to. It was just kind of like, I want him to try me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm proud of his progress now. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out where in verses we would put like where would we put Kentrell? Where would we put Youngboy? Who could he compete with? Let's give some of his peers. Let's give some of his peers. Who wins in a versus? Youngboy or Smirk? Youngboy or Smirk? Who you got? Who you got, people? Who you think wins? Some people saying Dirk. Smirk or Youngboy? We're trying to keep him among a peer level, we think. You know what's funny? I think we did this before, didn't we? Didn't we do I think we did this before. Now, here's the thing with YB when it comes to 15 songs and somebody else having 15 songs. I don't think if he's going to play 15 songs, they're all going to be chart-topping hits. But he might have more songs that I would say definitely his audience. Maybe it's only within his audience. I don't know. I feel like there's more Youngboy songs that's not hits that niggas know word for word than anybody else's songs that's not hits that people know word for word. That might sound like backwards, right? So let me say it again slower. I think Youngboy has more songs that niggas know from back to front, every word, than any other artist. If we're not talking about hit songs. So basically, people react to more of YB songs that ain't hits, like they're hits. And when I'm saying hits, that's subjective. Like objectively meaning you're on the charts. If a top 40 song. Like some of these songs may have not charted or did whatever, but everybody knows it. And when I'm saying everybody, I guess maybe I'm talking to most of these audiences. I'm not going to say everybody knows YB song, right? So I think that is what is probably going to make Youngboy, and also he has more catalog than pretty much everybody we're going to compare him to. I see Youngboy beating out Dirk. And initially I didn't want to, I think we had this conversation a long time ago, and I think I took Dirk's side. But I think once we kind of mapped it out, we realized Youngboy has so much catalog, so much to choose from, and you could pick 2 songs off AI Youngboy, 1 song off Top, 1 song off 38 Baby. You could take this song over here. You could take this off The Last Slimito. You could take so much records that if you're going to get 15, you're going to have a pretty good list. Here's the thing with Dirk's catalog. I think a lot of it, you're probably going to have to pull for those big features he has. Probably going to have to play maybe the one with him and Cole, one with him and Drake, maybe him and Future. And you kind of get into like a little interesting thing where it's like, yeah, he has some really popular songs that we all know, like, well, so that have done really well, objective hits. But that's all a Versus cares about. And that's where I think being true and honest, I don't know. And so if I was going to say, I think Youngboy perhaps would beat Dirk. Now, I always thought when it comes to the YNs, and I don't know if, well, Youngboy is seemingly still a YN. He's like 25, 26. But I think Kodak is like 30 now. Kodak was the guy of that generation. I always said, I don't think people could fuck with him. Not only does he have some of these songs that are infectious, and by the way, Ruger Red, thank you for the gifted memberships. Not only does he have these songs that are infectious, he has these songs that are like chart toppers, like Super Gremlin, like No Flockin', like Skrilla, like ZZ. Then you have these really cult classic that kind of people all love, whether it's a testimony, the ones that have some soul, some essence to it. His catalog is really good. You know, people got mad at me recently for talking about, me saying or giving my opinion that, I wasn't trying to disrespect Boosie, but it probably came across like I did or wanted to. Because I say, I'm going to be honest with you, like, to the generations that Kodak came from and following, Kodak means a lot more than Boosie means to his generation and afterwards. A lot of people, they were like, no, Boosie is the GOAT. Boosie, when it comes to Louisiana. And it wasn't trying to disrespect Boosie. And maybe I did that, inadvertently. But I was really trying to shout out Kodak. Yo, Kodak's a real nigga, man. Kodak if you ask me, is one of the criminally underrated artists. And it's sad to say because I think it's everything outside of his music that has gotten I think his legacy takes many hits. And I don't think people are holding him up to the level that he deserves to be. And I think that's why I always give him his props. You got to give a nigga his props because also sometimes, and also I've talked to Kodak, Kodak used to call me and vent for hours. And half the time I don't know what he's talking about. He's scatterbrained, mumbling. Then he speaks mad clearly. And then, but he's one of those guys that I could tell, he feels a way when people leave him out of the conversation for all the contribution he's given. And not that it's about his feelings, but I know he gets discouraged. So I always try to throw that in there. Like, that's one of the goats right there. I don't play with him. Yeah, we could talk about whatever shit y'all talk about, like the drug stuff. Yeah, we could talk about it. Hope you get clean. Yeah, that's all good. But that's one of the goats right there. Remember that. So if it's Youngboy and Kodak, maybe this is what we did on stream. Who wins that? Who wins that? Who wins that, chat? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All the Super Bowl stuff happening. Anyway, I think we should revisit this conversation. I'm not too sure where Youngboy, but where Youngboy fits in this. Truth be told, and even though I don't really like Homie, but it's hard for me to just fucking straight up lie. I do believe Youngboy. If we're talking 15 songs, I think Youngboy and Lil Baby right there. Lil Baby he got some good songs. He got about 15 of them. I think Youngboy would beat him, but I think Lil Baby could compete, honestly. So I think that's the level for where I think Youngboy could be at. I think Futures is a little bit out of the league of everybody. I'm gonna be honest. You can't mess with the Futures. You can't mess with the Drakes. You can't mess with the Kanyes. But the Lil Baby-esque, Gunna, Savage, yeah, right there. That's the sweet spot right there. That's the sweet spot. Now, I can't be incompatible. I'd probably say a Cardi, but they don't match. They don't match. House arrest things, and what are you gonna play? Like one of these rage songs? No. So Kodak is in that mix too. Travis, ooh, see that's interesting because Travis is such a huge artist. Travis. I think Travis is right there. Travis probably has the best chance to compete with Future, but he still get his ass whipped. So I think we're going Ye, Drake, Future, Travis, and then we get down to a little cluster. So you got Savage, Baby, you have Gunna, you have Youngboy. And I think Youngboy would kind of float to kind of near the top of that. Obviously, out of all those rappers right now, I think he's the hottest. But, at times, some of those guys has had some hits, right? I don't want to put him in a cluster when he's clearly the hottest out of those people. But if we're talking about catalog, and yes, he has the most elaborate catalog, and of course, probably the most diehard fans, and some of these fans know all the songs. If we're trying to make it about hits, and we got to do a balance of equations of biggest song versus cult classic versus it's one of the reasons why Dreams of Nightmare intro was never one of the it was never top 10 when it first came out, or it wasn't even top 40. I don't even think it charted initially when it first came out. However, if Meek does a versus with anybody, even if he was gonna lose every other round, that's probably the one round he wins, which is playing intro, right? So I think you guys kind of get it. We'll double back to it. Let us see what's going on with Soup.